All right. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Every weekday morning, 10:30, we get on. Sometimes we're running a little late because of technical issues like today. But we're going to chat. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, even afterwards, I know a lot of people can't make it 10:30 in the morning. You're working, you're doing stuff. You got stuff to do, people to see. And I get that. You're watching it later. So put it in the comments, right? Give me a comment of a question or a thought, something that you want to add to the conversation. And once again, I have neglected to put into the chat the links to the Facebook group and to the email list. What is the Facebook group? The Facebook group is Parents of Adult Children Failure to Launch, right? It's for parents who have a adult child who is struggling, and it's a community, right? It's a community to support you and to help you understand that you are not alone and that others have had success, right? They've been where you are, and it's a community that supports each other and helps out. So when I can finally get this link up here, it will be in there, and I'll also put it in the comments. Okay, I found it. Here we go. And the email list. Well, here's why you want to get on the email list. The email list is where you are going to receive tools, you're going to receive information, you're going to hear about what is happening. And oh my goodness, everything is just, I've got blank screens in front of me. I do not know. I will have to add these links later. I don't know. I got one thing saying the internet's not working, and it obviously is. And then I got another thing that's just, I got a blank screen where I'm supposed to put in the stuff. I don't know what's going on, but I do believe that I am live. So I will get those links later. So I hope you have your coffee and you're ready to chat. So what are we going to chat about today? Well, I don't know. That's what we're going to chat about. I don't know, right? Specifically, I'm talking about those moments when you're trying to have a conversation with your adult child and they say, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know why it didn't happen. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. IDK, right? How many times have you heard that, right? It happens so often. And I want to talk about what you do in those moments because I want you to see those moments in a very different light. Yeah. And actually, if you want to put it in the chat, what's an I don't know moment that you have, right? What's a time where, or a topic or a scenario where your child does that I don't know? Is it about jobs? Is it about changing their behavior? Something about moving forward, right? Hey, why didn't you do this? Why didn't this happen? I don't know. What are those moments for you? I'm happy for you to put those in there, and we could even talk about someone's specific situation. So, you're trying to have that conversation, right? You want to understand what's going on. You want to help, but you're getting that I don't know. First thing I want to go over. Many times, I think parents take I don't know as their child saying I don't care, right? Like I don't care about the situation. I don't care that this is important. And when parents start seeing I don't know is I don't care. And let's get real. That's a lot of how they present it at times. Like, I don't know, right? Does that trigger you hearing that? Right? You might think it means I don't care. Now, that might be what they're trying to convey at times. But if that is where you go as a parent, you're going to be very limited in how to push forward. Right? I encourage you to see those as stuck moments. Right? Let's break it down into some categories. I don't know usually falls into 3 categories, right? The first category is they do know, right? They do know what to talk about. They do know what's going on. They do know why something didn't happen, but they're avoiding, right? And so sometimes that's the one where the I don't care feel comes from, right? But you got to think of it as, okay, something about this is really hard for them to talk about, right? And they're pushing back. They don't want to talk, and you're getting that I don't know. Sometimes it's in that category. Another time, and I think parents underestimate how much their kids I don't know fits into this category. It's a genuine I don't know. Like they literally don't know how to talk about it. They literally don't know why they're stuck. They literally don't know what the next step is going to take. And that might be because they're avoiding it inside of themselves. They don't want to think about it. It makes them stressed out. They're anxious, but they genuinely don't know. Right? And it's important because if you're taking their I don't know as they don't care and that's it, right? You're going to miss an opportunity. The third category is it's both, right? And I'm kind of hinting at that. I think a lot of times when you're getting the I don't know, it's a little bit of all of that, right? They don't want to talk about it because they don't know how to talk about it, and they're trying to shut the conversation down. They're trying to avoid it because they really don't know how to move forward. And that's more, I think, of a healthy way to think of it as parents, right? They don't know how to talk about it. They don't know what to talk about. They're maybe even pushing back. Because when you can see it that way, and here's the big point, it's a growth opportunity, right? Whatever's going on, they're stuck, right? Whatever's going on, they don't know how to have a difficult conversation. Whatever's going on, right? They need to learn how to tolerate some discomfort, how to explore possibilities, how to keep a conversation going, how to make decisions and problem solve and develop their own answers, right? All that stuff is not happening when they go into that I don't know mode, right? They need to figure some things out, whether it's the next step or it's how to have a difficult conversation, whatever it is, right? And so that's how you want to think about it. It's an opportunity for growth. Therefore, you're avoiding falling into what I would say are the two most common parent reactions that I see. Because I sit there in my therapy sessions and I listen to these conversations, right? I try to help parents talk with their kids and their kids talk to the parents. And the parents are trying and they get the, I don't know. Right. And so the parent reactions that I see most common is one, the parent will take over, right? They'll take over the conversation, right? And it's not a conversation anymore. It's a lecture, right? They're preaching to them, right? And so they go from, they get the fifth, seventh, I don't know. And then the parent's like, okay, well, here's what you need to do. Here's why this is important. Here's what we're going to do after this. And they're talking. And a lot of times I'm seeing a teenager or a young adult shutting down in that moment. It's not a conversation. Or the other reaction I see is parents get frustrated. I mean, they try. And I'm telling them like, hey, keep trying. And all they're getting is, I don't know. I really don't know. Right. And then parents get frustrated and they give up. Right. They're like, I don't know what to do. Right. The parents go into their I don't know and they don't talk anymore. Right. You've got to stay away from those. Now, what's the goal when you're getting the I don't knows? Right. We want to keep the conversation going. That's the goal. Right. You don't want the conversation to end. No matter what's happening, if your kid is avoiding and really trying not to talk, or maybe they're being pleasant, but they're still saying, I don't know. The conversation can't stop there. It's got to keep going. And that's a lot of what I do with parents is I say, keep going, keep asking, keep trying. So how do you keep them talking? First of all, it's okay to push into the conversation, right? It's okay to to emphasize that the conversation needs to go on, but it's how you do it, right? And I see a lot of parents, they need help with this. What does that look like? I'll tell you what I do, right? When I'm talking with a young adult and I'm getting the I don't knows, and they give it to me too, right? They're in there like, I don't know, dude, I don't know. I say, hey, I know this is a tough conversation, right? I know you've been through a lot. I know this isn't working out for you. I know without even knowing everything about it that this is a really hard thing that you're going through. This is a really difficult thing to talk about. But here's the thing, you need to talk about it. Right? This is important, right? I don't want you to stay stuck. I want you to find the answers. I want you to figure out what to do. I want you to feel confident about moving forward, right? And if you're a parent, you've got another thing that I can't even do as a therapist, right? With your child, right? I love you. I care about you. You are so important to me, right? I want you to move forward and have the best life that you can have. Right? I care about you, right? You have that connection and you're leaning in on that. Even if things have been really rough, right? Even if things have been so difficult, so the relationship, there's tension there, but you still love them. You still care about them, right? And if it feels like they're not receiving it, you keep giving it, right? You keep telling them. I've talked about it many times. Yesterday, we talked about motivation and how that's not the strategy to focus on. But I've talked many times about the foundation, right? When you're having a conversation and it's breaking down, you go back to that foundation. I love you. I care about you. I want the best for you. That's why we're talking. I don't know where this conversation just went awry, but this is why I want to talk to you, right? So you emphasize that. I love you. I care about you. This is important. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but we've got to talk. Put some effort into this, right? Engage with me. I'm here to help you. And then you push, right? Then that's really different than like, look, you're 24 years old and you need to figure this out, right? That's very different, right? You're showing you care and you're pushing in, right? And that we need to talk about this. And then you can start exploring, right? But here's another big point I want to make. It's okay for them not to know, right? Because they may not know. So many times I say that to them. I'm like, you know what? You keep saying, I don't know. And maybe you really don't know, right? That's okay. It's okay not to know. It's okay that you don't have the answers. If you had all the answers, you might be in a different place right now. Let's talk about figuring it out, knowing what to do. Let's work on it together, right? So the goal, if you're catching on, is in those I don't know moments, is to first shift away from hammering in on the problem or the answer, and it's working more on connecting with them, right? Because that's what is going to be that foundation. It's going to help you push through that conversation. Instead of them feeling like they need to be forced to talk about it, you want them to feel like you are an active partner with them, right? Because lecturing and telling them what to do is, and there are times where you have to have those boundaries, you have to be firm, but ultimately you want them to figure out how to get out of these stuck places. Because I've seen that many times where something can happen and the situation can improve, but it improved because other people stepped in and did it for them or made it happen. But did they really learn some of the resilience, some of the grit that they need to push through a moment? Right. So the temptation could be, let's just get them through it. Let's get things moving forward. But have they grown? Right. As in the next time they hit a barrier, a loophole, a struggle, whatever it is, are they going to be able to figure it out? Right. Are they growing? So you're shifting to connecting with them, and you want to keep them talking. So let me hone in on that piece a little bit here. What do I mean? What do I mean by keeping them talking? Really, anything is good. Anything is better than I don't know, and a parent just lecturing, and then it's not a conversation, or it just shuts down, right? No one's talking. So you might shift to talking about something else. For example, feelings. Now that might sound weird, but you can follow the feelings sometimes, right? Instead of talking about what they're going to do, talk about how they're feeling, how they're doing, what's been going on. So if we're talking about getting a job, every time you have to talk about getting a job, or it's time to fill out resumes or an interview, like what does that feel like to you? What does this whole thing feel like to you, right? And you might get some more I don't knows, but you're going to help them in that moment because they might not be in touch with their feelings, right? They're there, but they don't know how to put words on it, and you could say, if I was in that situation, I think I'd be really frustrated, right? I'd be maybe scared. I'd be anxious about what's going to happen. Is that how you're feeling? Right. And that's one avenue you can get to. Or their thoughts that are kind of connected to feelings. Like, what do you think about this whole thing? When it's time to get a job, and you might hear something from them that you need to be careful with, right? You need to be gentle with. A big one that I'll hear from young adults when they start talking is like, this just isn't fair. Right? It isn't fair that I have to work so hard to get a job, and these other people, they got a job so easy. Or it's not fair that didn't work out, or that my friend group, rejected me, or that this happened or that happened. Right? That's wonderful if you can get them to share that. Right? And that's where but you need to be gentle with that. You're like, well, life's not fair. Suck it up and move on. Conversation over. Right? But being able to show empathy, connection, like, okay, I get it. That doesn't feel fair. Tell me more about it. Why doesn't it feel fair? Well, because this happened and that happened, right? Okay, well, what when that happened, what were you thinking about it, right? Or, where did you shut down, or what happened, right? You keep the conversation going. No matter what comes out of their mouth, there's a way to kind of go with it. So it's less about where the conversation is going, and it's more that the conversation is going, right? And even if you start getting 7 layers removed from what you need to be talking about, you can always come back to it, right? You want them to feel that you are genuinely interested, that you absolutely care, and that you're trying to help them figure it out, that you are connecting with them. And then you can kind of bring it back and like, okay, all right, so all this has been going on with your friend group and you're really focused on them. How does this connect to you getting that job, or why you're not going out anymore? Is it because you're just too anxious so you'll be seen? What's going on, right? Now they're talking. Big point. Big point. What does success look like in these moments, right? You're getting the I don't know. If you push past that and you get them to talk about anything, right? They talked a little bit about their feelings. They talked about the way they saw the situation. They talked about why it was difficult. Even if they talked about something unrelated to what you're trying to get to, that's a success, right? That is goal achieved. I say this so many times. I talked to a few families about this last night that I was talking to. These are more than just one conversation, right? Many times the conversation you're having now is setting you up for the conversation you're going to have later, right? If you can just get past the I don't knows and keep things talking, right? And yeah, you didn't get the answer. You didn't solve the thing, but you're moving it forward, right? That was good. That's what you want, right? And then you build on it. And you can even leave the conversation like, okay, I know a little bit more about what's going on? Thanks for telling me this. We still need to figure this out at some point, right? But we're out of time now. We got to go do this, or so let's talk about it again tomorrow or later today or something like that. So you're keeping it going, and that is very important, right? It's more about the connection. So I just wanted to give you some encouragement with that chat today. And if anyone has any thoughts or comments now or later, that is fine. But I wanted to give you some encouragement because I know those are real moments, right? And maybe yours isn't the I don't know, right? Maybe yours is the in some other way that they're shutting down or the conversation breaks down. Don't give up, right? Keep pushing, keep trying, but focus in on your connection. Focus in on the fact that you're trying to help them. And I know this sounds maybe just so objective, up in the air, but when you keep the conversation going, when you keep focused on the connection, that's really the path to uncovering what you need to do next. Then you can get into the problem solving. Then you can get into the next steps. And those next steps are important, right? There has to be steps. There has to be moments of we are moving forward. And here's what we're doing. But you don't get there, right? If the conversation shuts down. You don't get there if you lose the connection with them, right? And that's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing all this. That's why I'm doing it, right? I'm doing these chats in the morning, and the Facebook group, the YouTube channel, and all that is to help parents know what to do, know they're not alone, and know what to do, how to move things forward. So for you, this might open up 1,000,000,001 questions, right? Jonathan, that sounds great. But in our situation, how do we actually do that, right? That's why we have the Facebook group. That's why we have the email list. For those that want to dig a little bit deeper, get into the tools, because it's more than I can talk about just in one chat. But I really want you to get on those. So I will put the links as soon as this is over. I'll figure out how to do that. And let me see if that screen is still blank, because yeah. So if someone tried to leave a comment, I apologize. I have no idea why it's doing that, but I can't see it. Weird. All right. That's what I wanted to chat about today. And thank you. Thank you, those of you who are watching and connecting with this. If it's helping you, tell someone about it, right? Let them know that there's a resource. Just had someone join the Facebook group last night or yesterday, and that's what they said. They said they had someone tell them about the group, and I love that, right? I love when people are reaching out, helping each other, supporting, saying, hey, here's something that can help you out. So that's what we're doing. That's what these chats are about. And that's what I was going to talk about. We will be back. I will be back next Monday. We're doing this weekdays, 10:30 in the morning. And we also do one in the Facebook group, which is on Tuesday evenings. And that one's a little bit more in depth. So if you're part of that group, you can dig into that one. All right. You guys have a great weekend, blessed weekend. I'm thinking about you, and I look forward to talking again on Monday.